Well, if you've got nothing to say.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this may be a bit controversial. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about Disenchantment. Or more specifically, the character Queen Dagmar. Now, I might not get a lot of support in saying this, but Disenchantment has a big problem with one specific character. And no, it's not Lucy or Bean or Elfo, even if they all have their own issues. In my opinion, I think the biggest problem with Disenchantment is Queen Dagmar. Dagmar is the biggest wasted opportunity of Disenchantment, and let me explain why. Now, Dagmar, she has all the makings to be a great villain. She has a great design, a cool voice, mysterious powers, and a mysterious past. And I like her personality.
Jeez, Dag, he was our littlest brother.
Now you are, so shut up.
Now, if you forget, Dagmar's Bean's mother, and honestly, I would call both of them foils.
She makes me so angry. I just want to squeeze and stab and subjugate people.
Remind you of anyone, Elfo?
Dagmar is basically who Bean would be if Bean was more savvy and didn't let her emotions get in the way of her wants.
Face it, you're just as self-serving as I am.
But anyway, Dagmar came from Maru, and she married Zog and had Bean. When Bean was a little kid, she tried to poison Zog, but since Bean was a little kid who obviously didn't understand what was going on, she unintentionally saved her dad's life, at the cost of Dagmar's, who got turned into a statue.
Bean?
Some plot-related stuff goes down, and finally Bean has the means to revive her mother. Obviously the two bond, but everybody realizes, wait, Dagmar's no good. But she has Bean in her clutches and escapes with Bean and Maru. And this is where the problems with Dagmar begin. Dagmar honestly had a strong start. Up until here, Dagmar is built up pretty well, as somebody who's mysterious and complex. She has all the makings of a good antagonist. Like I said, cool design, her own plans, etc. But in Maru, Dagmar begins to go downhill, and she begins to feel a little lopsided. See, Bean realizes that while Dagmar is loving, there might be something up with her.
What I used to do when you were little. Now it's just annoying.
Shut up.
And her fears are proven true when she finds out Dagmar and her siblings need to screw a crown into Bean's head. And if they succeed, Bean's gonna end up like... Now, I'm sure you're all wondering why they want to screw a crown into Bean's head. But we never exactly figure out why.
There's a prophecy to be fulfilled, our fame and fortune to be restored, a debt to hell that we're really overdue on.
Even in the next episode where Bean goes to the literal hell and meets the literal devil, that question never gets answered. Seriously, he's never like, hey, I know you. Dagmar was supposed to give me to you. Or, you know, I was promised you 15 years ago. But while this is going on, you're probably expecting Dagmar to go track down Bean or launch a war to get her back, but we don't get that. What's worse is beyond one episode, Dagmar never really appears until the last episode of Season 2, where she saves Bean and Co from getting burned alive. Again, before I go into Season 3, let me just say that Dagmar had the makings to be a great antagonist or a great villain, and the show kind of squanders that. She becomes a wasted opportunity, for lack of a better word. See, Dagmar has a couple problems. One, she's mysterious. Maybe a little too mysterious. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a mysterious character. That's what I liked about the Diamonds and what I liked about Bill Cipher. But Dagmar, she's way too mysterious. It feels like the show's saying, we could reveal more about her, but first watch all these filler episodes. At times, she felt a little confused.
Well, I get it. The magic is inside me.
Oh, no. Too vague. Much too vague. Mummy's fault.
I'll be honest, I never got the show was making fun of characters that seem mysterious, or are built up to be mysterious and then are a huge letdown. Because if that's the point, they never make it clear, and that could be one way to redeem Dagmar.
What music box?
The one on the mantle.
What mantle?
The mantle I gave you as a baby.
Why did you give me a mantle?
Look, I said I had to go.
But honestly, if they are going for that, it's probably a bad idea to put that satire on your main antagonist or your overarching antagonist, especially if you're going for a story-driven show. If this was The Simpsons or South Park or even Futurama, I guess they can get away with it, but Disenchantment wants to be story-driven. So the whole joke with Dagmar, if that's what they're doing, doesn't work. Yeah, maybe Dagmar isn't the big bad, but she is one of the major villains Bean's gonna have to face, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bean takes her down at some point. Besides, she's the reason Bean went for a lot in the first 2 seasons.
Wow, I feel better already. What do you call this?
Affection.
If they want to make fun of mysterious overarching characters, either just do it as a one-and-done joke, or just do it for a one-and-done character. But even if they are doing that, they still have big questions to answer. So that leads me to my next point. Number 2. The show never answers any questions. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a character that raises a lot of questions. But the thing is, when you ask those questions, you have to answer them eventually. I'm not saying all at once, but at some point you have to reveal more beyond they're just gonna screw a crown into Bean's head. If I had to give a comparison to another character, Dagmar kind of reminds me of White Diamond, who was built up to be this this big bad antagonist, but even in her last appearance, they never really explain why she does what she does. They do at least explain she wants to spread her perfection, but how is it she somehow knows what a mom is if she's never left homeworld in eons? Kind of like how, if she wants Bean for a prophecy, why does she still love her? And what exactly is the prophecy? See, Dagmar is an interesting character. Whenever you're on screen, you constantly have all these questions, but the show never answers them, and then they give you a bucket more after that episode's over. Like, you're already up to your eyeballs in paperwork, and they give you 10 more piles. Even if they are kind of saving the whole Bean some kind of savior plot for later, they should at least say what the whole ceremony was, or what the debt even was. Because how are we supposed to root for Bean beyond the fact she doesn't get a crown drilled into her skull? But there is something that kind of complicates that. Number 3, Dagmar rarely appears. Yeah, I understand. She's the main villain, and it seems like the show has big plans for her, but they never really include her. I don't know if they don't know what to do with her, or if her actress is just really busy, or if they're saving her, but she rarely appears. She's only voice-wise in about 8 episodes. Maybe it seems like a bad thing, but back to Steven Universe. Blue Diamond and Yellow Diamond, between them, have less than 30 minutes of screen time in a 5-season show, and they're more complex and fleshed out than Dagmar. The first season, I kinda get it, but the second season after she's alive, she's only really in 2 or 3 episodes. Third season, I might spoil some things, she abruptly disappears after episode 2. How are we supposed to know more about her, or her plans, or like her, if the show just throws her to the wayside? Although I guess it could have worked. Again, going back to Steven Universe, sorry if I keep doing it, Rose Quartz and Pink Diamond are barely in the show, and they never properly appear in the present day. But even then, they are really fleshed out, since either the characters tell stories about them, or we meet people who knew them, or the characters have to deal with those characters' consequences. Even if Rose Scabbard is about Rose, we never actually meet Rose in that episode, but we still learn a lot about her, both for the plot and for the character. Disenchantment could have done that. Like maybe when Bean's in Morrow, she hears a couple servants talking about the prophecy. Or again, she's in literal hell. Talk to Asmodeus. Yeah, Dagmar doesn't always need to be in every episode or the focus of every episode, but they need to devote more time to her. But I think I know a reason why they couldn't make it work. Number 4, Dagmar suffers in bad direction.
I really do love you.
Then set me free.
Not that much. Actually, pretending to care about your feelings was exhausting.
One complaint the show gets is they cheat to make a lot of points or jokes or commentaries. And yeah, it kinda knows that in season 3 with Derek and Oddball and the Archdruidess. But Dagmar is probably one of the biggest ways the show cheats. They could reveal some aspects that might humanize her, but nope, sorry, she was faking it. They could reveal how she was able to survive the events of season 2, but nope, they need to make it vague. They could reveal her plans, but nope, gotta keep watching. And again, I don't really think they know what to do with Dagmar. Either they can't decide if they want to make her this show's main villain, or they just want her to be a recurring antagonist, or if she's working for somebody. And it sucks because Dagmar has all the makings to be this show's antagonist. But at times, it feels like Dagmar has no motivation for doing anything beyond just doing it. It seems like she's just there to give Bean somebody to hate, and that's it. And honestly, Bean has plenty of those people. Yeah, maybe just doing it because counts as her motivation, but you gotta make it clear if that's it. Because regardless of whatever antagonist you write, you have to give them motivation. Even if Dagmar's doing all this because the sky's blue, or they took her favorite show off the air and now she's bored, you have to say what it is. Because seriously, I'll be honest, season 3 answers none of it beyond the fact Bean might be a savior. I did get at first why they were vague, since part 2 was just the second half of season 1, but by this point they should have figured out what Dagmar does. Or at least what her end goal is. Is it something like if she doesn't fulfill the prophecy, she dies young, or she can't die till she fulfills the prophecy? I honestly thought season 3 would do more with her, or answer more of her questions, but spoilers. Number 5, season 3 kind of forgets about her. Yeah, I've said it a lot, but they kind of abruptly drop her after the second episode. Season 3 starts off really good with Dagmar. We find out she lied to the Trogs about being their savior to get Bean back, but then they raise more questions than they actually answer. See, Dagmar pretends to love Bean again.
Actually, pretending to care about your feelings was exhausting.
I never loved you.
But then Bean walks around on her eating a Trog's brain and locks Bean and Co in a dungeon. Okay, why is she eating a Trog's brain? Was it magical potential? To see in the dark? Does it taste like ice cream? What is this Trog savior? And what exactly does she want with Bean? Again, they could have answered it here. Maybe Dagmar doesn't say it since it would be super cliche, but maybe Bean finds, say, her diary or one of her spell books. But we don't get that. Bean just breaks out of prison, impersonates Dagmar, which admittedly was super funny.
That imitation is terrible.
Oh, you're terrible.
How dare you,
How
Bean?
dare you, Bean?
No, you're Bean.
Who's Bean? I'm Dagmar. You're the Bean.
But they don't do anything with Dagmar after this. She tricks Bean to giving her the crown, and she just up and disappears.
I crown thee Queen of Lies.
Although she does appear in the last few minutes of the season. She brings Bean to some kind of satanic chapel of sorts, and there's a groom there. Another cliffhanger sequel hook.
The bride has arrived.
And I may get some hate for saying this, but this is bad too, since it's another cliffhanger, and we learn nothing new about her. Maybe this could have been interesting, but you've already done this before, at the end of both seasons. Basically a whole pattern of Bean goes somewhere with Dagmar, Dagmar says to trust her, Bean despises Dagmar, and then Dagmar leaves. And then she comes back at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if when season 4 drops, that it turns out Bean somehow gets out of this marriage, nothing new happens beyond maybe 1 or 2 things, and then Dagmar escapes, and then appears at the end of the season once again to rescue Bean. It's like she went from a really cool antagonist to basically another dastardly villain. But what's your opinion on Dagmar? Do you think she's a wasted opportunity, or is she fine the way she is? What do you think of Disenchantment? What else should I touch on? Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and think about becoming a patron. A little help goes a long way. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm Kitty Monk, and thank you for watching.